Hello and welcome to Mastering Mediocrity Music Reviews. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ben.
I'm Mark.
We are here today to celebrate Ghosts. I look to you for the album name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Impera, their latest album release. It was released last Friday.
Indeed.
It was March 11th.
And Ghost is special to at least me and Ben.
Yeah, not so much me.
We found them out, like a couple of years ago?
Man, honestly, I think
Has
it
it
was
been
like
three?
2015, 2016.
It may have been that long.
Meliora was out. Or at least...
I call it Meliora, but...
At least Cerise was out.
Yeah.
As a single.
And that was the one
That's
that I
like
said,
a
I heard it and I was like, check this out.
I didn't like it.
I bought tickets for their tour anyways, and you agreed to go. It was
Yeah.
at the Egyptian Room in Indianapolis.
Yep.
We had a nice breakfast at a burger place beforehand. Breakfast, a nice dinner at a burger place before we went, and then we went to the Egyptian Room. And
Yeah.
it was
how big was
stood in the way back. Like I had a vest on because I was still from
we
work.
stood all the way in the back. It was like a 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Oh, that's big.
And the opening band was this like psychedelic house band,
metal.
doom house metal.
Yeah, it was
weird. It was a guy DJing it. Maybe there was a couple other instrumentalists, musicians, if you will.
But it was very bizarre.
Yeah, that shit was really bizarre.
Just music or with like singing?
I don't think it was singing.
Yeah,
It's just music?
I think there may have been
Like a
some
jam
songs
band?
with words, but there was a lot of
Super
just
weird.
music.
So that I can definitely see how that would have turned Ben off from the beginning because he's like, "What am I getting myself into here?"
Yeah, because Jeff had only sent me the one song, and I wasn't really into it. And I didn't look into it further, and we may have listened to a handful of songs on the way out to Indianapolis, but
Yeah.
I still was just like, whatever. But like I said, we stood all the way in the back of this crowd.
I
Out
didn't
there.
I didn't want to make you feel obligated to go to the front
Yeah,
for something
I
you didn't
appreciate
maybe care for.
Yeah. Just
But-
take a gander from the back for a
Yeah,
while.
but I mean, it gave me an opportunity to purview literally the whole crowd, and I was the only person who wasn't digging it. It was very bizarre. Not bizarre.
In the opening band, you're saying?
No, Ghost.
Ghost,
Ghost
yeah.
finally came out. I was the only person who was confused. Everyone else was in on it, and I was like, I'm not seeing it.
Because it is weird because it's
Did you
not
see-
power metal, right?
No, it's not.
Did
It's
you
not
look-
really hard rock.
Did you
No.
look them up? Did you look at their pictures or anything of the band? Or
I did not. I
anything
have a kind of an image in my mind
of what you think they
of
are.
what I think they look like.
Oh, okay.
That's like Papa at his most
Let's see.
unmasked,
Ghost.
and he had kind of a thing like this where he's fully clothed.
Yeah. So
That's like his real face.
So the lead singer of Ghost, or not the lead singer. All right. So how do we want to get into this? There are different eras of the band
And different eras of Papa.
of Papa, and so
Tobias
this
Forge.
here is all the different Papas. So here's Papa 1, Papa 2.
Is this the same person?
Papa, yeah, it's the same guy underneath
Okay.
each time. So Papa 1, Papa 2.
Is he ever seen in public not looking like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's the
he
thing.
used to
Is
be.
this what
When-
what he looks like at a show?
This is Papa 3. This is Cardinal, and then this is what the Cardinal looks like now.
Okay.
Okay, so quick stop there. When we first started listening, there was an actual mystique around who the lead singer was and who the
Who
main
everybody
schools
was.
were. And we came to find out, the best guess was Tobias Forge.
Yeah, and then
he has
I-
another band, and you can just kind of say, oh yeah, that's
And
the
then
same
I think it
person.
was a Rob Zombie post that there was
Really gave it away.
there was a tour or a big metal festival that was going, and it was a picture of everybody.
A selfie.
Yeah, like a selfie of everybody, and all the bands were tagged, and so it was like, okay, this person's with this band, this person's with this band, and then there's this one guy, Tobias Forge, who's the lead guy of Ghost. He was the only guy in the picture. Ghost
Yeah.
is the only band unaccounted for, so kind of okay.
Yeah.
They had the
And then-
mystique, but they were giving it away.
And then back in the day, they would give interviews. He would give interviews as one of the nameless schools, and this is what the nameless schools look like.
So like
back in
for
the
a
day.
while, nobody knew who he was because
Nobody
this
knows.
is how
They
he
didn't
looked whenever
know.
he
Yeah.
was in public.
Right.
I went on Reddit and investigated.
find out.
And you could find out. They're like,
You had to put a little
we're
effort
pretty
into
sure
it.
it's Tobias Forge.
You had to
Yeah.
put a little effort in. People
It's
were
cool that
It was
like,
cool.
kept the
Because it
anonymity.
became this like epic social media campaign.
okay. So I'm gonna get a little sidetracked, but all right. So what happened? They would give interviews dressed like this. There were two people would give interviews. I went deep into this. I watched tons of interviews, like hours of footage.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that the interviews were done by two people, Tobias Forge and then the lead guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the interviews, Tobias says, so he's asked who writes the songs. He's like, well, one person does most of it, and then other people might have a little bit more input than others. And then it's like, okay, he's definitely the lead guy, and then the other guy, because Tobias is a pretty small guy, and then the lead guitarist was a big dude. Like he'd be fucking busting out of his costume. And not like buff or whatever, but just like a bigger dude. And then the rest of the band left, or whatever you want to do, but however you want to call it. But
There was a breakup.
There was a breakup. The lead guitarist, I think, was the first person to leave, the guy who would do the interviews, and then the rest of the band left. And then the three other guys sued Tobias, so then everyone's name kind of like got out.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to, after that, like, you couldn't not find out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Right.
The answer was there. It was given to you.
Because there were articles being written like, oh, Ghost is being, Tobias.
It's headed by Tobias Forge, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So once the lead guitarist left, like I said, he was the other guy who had influence in the songwriting. You can tell a difference in the music from when he was gone, or when he was in the band, and then afterwards. There's a clear difference in how the guitars sound and how the songs are kind of composed and arranged. But I was like, we're super sidetracked, but that's all right. That's all right.
No, I got
No,
you.
I think at the beginning of the show we do this quite often. But I think the thing that changes the most is it does become more pop over time.
But I think that's intentional.
Would it have been, though?
I think so.
Would it have gone slower or faster? We don't know.
Yeah.
My thing was, like, I think Tobias wanted to go more pop.
Yeah.
And when he got the reins, that's when he started bringing in it, like, other producers. Like, I've heard, what do you call it? Cerise or whatever?
Oh, Cerise.
Cerise. Like, I think Dave Grohl had input into that part. Well, I'd have to look that up to be sure, but, like, it's rumored that he even played live with them at some point. So I don't know if that's been confirmed or otherwise. But it's just part of the mystique. Like, they're nameless schools. You can't see them. You get a general idea. Like, there's some very definite sizes of people and females that you just can't even cover, even with the latest, more gender-neutral ones. Yeah, you know that some of the people are the same each time, but there could be people that are just there to play the music.
Yeah.
It's cool. It just adds to the mystique.
I will say, when I saw him on this Pope Star tour in Nashville, this was the best show that I
With
saw.
Iron Maiden.
With Iron Maiden, it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
They opened for him. It was a really cool show. This was the best Ghost show. The band felt like they were really clicking. This last one, I don't know, it didn't feel like the same Ghost. But they were about to put this album out, and this album, like I said, sounds way different than all the other stuff. So I can imagine when you're touring right before a new album comes out.
Yeah, you gotta drop some songs.
Yeah,
and,
like how do you...
You know.
They didn't even... I don't even think they played any... They may have played Hunter's Moon or Call Me Little Sunshine or
They
whatever.
played both of those, yeah.
But yeah, like they didn't play any of the other stuff.
I don't think so, no.
But yeah.
I will say this, it feels like this last concert happened to them rather than Ghost making it happen. In the previous ones that I've seen, I don't know about the Iron Maiden one, but it was very much just high church. Like, they had the stained glass windows in the background being projected or like...
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case in this last one. Actually, I felt like their stage, if anything, felt kind of naked.
Yeah, no, that's
There's
all.
more stage.
The one in Nashville, like the stained glass windows, they weren't projected. Like not that they were real stained glass windows, but there was a real structure back there
Yeah.
to look like stained
And the
glass.
one we did at,
and this
it wasn't Aronoff, but it was Taft
Yeah,
Theater.
wherever.
That one was
Same
very much
idea.
the same thing.
But-
Actual structures.
But this one, the one we just saw at U.S. Bank or whatever the fuck, Heritage, was projected.
Big screened, and then or projected. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just kind of, you kind of lost a little something there. I don't know if it's just, it could be
Direction.
COVID or like they can't bring the whole production along or whatever. And who the fuck knows?
Yeah. All right, Ben. Bring us to the beginning of the album with
Imperium.
track 1.
Track 1, Imperium. Yeah, this is an instrumental. It's not terribly long, probably about a minute and a half, which is about right for an instrumental in my opinion.
Has cool moments, but still needed.
Just an intro. Yeah.
It wasn't like Sarajevo, which told a story and set the stage and had an amazing musical moment. It was just kind of like, "Brr," and then I put that in like it ends in the THX sound check thing.
Yeah.
Like, "Brr." But really short and held back.
Yeah.
I don't know. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, you?
I had a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I really liked the repeating guitar riff.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
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 I kind of like that. I like solid repeating guitar riff.
I will
The whole
say
song.
it was
As
cool. It
music
had a cool
builds
moment.
on and off of it.
Yeah.
I like that kind of.
Yeah.
It just didn't do anything for the album.
I thought it fucking set the tone pretty well.
Yeah. 80s kind of metal feel
Yeah.
to it. Triumphant, like
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I
go
like.
seize the day.
I listened to it
Yeah.
twice and then I never listened to it again.
Oh yeah.
Has a good. I think it's a pretty solid intro with kind of the theme of what the album's supposed to be.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wrong before.
Yeah, because you were saying that you think they've lost something like that high church or whatever, but in my head, this is high church in the fucking 24th century. This is fucking the televangelical or fucking like done to the fucking 14th century.
I can
Madonna.
say it's definitely in the same tone
But, like-
as the album.
But like, I still look at it as if it's like a play, and this is the intro song. Like the band's down in the pit, like the strings are going. And
This isn't what I
this
would
plays,
want.
And then like the fucking curtains come, and then
No.
well, that's what I'm saying. This is
it's
style-
not that
it's
good.
stylized.
But
It's
like what you're
stylized.
what you're explaining to me now is not what this is.
Yeah, I'm saying you're lacking imagination.
No, I have of all the people in the world, I have plenty of that imagination.
So,
I think
yeah.
6
So
out of 10
so
is generous.
I gave it a 5.
I liked it.
I gave it a
That's
5.
generous.
So like now the curtains have closed, and then now the guitar solo or the guitar intro, the to
Yeah.
Kaisarion starts in this theater of the fucking high church of the fucking 24th century. The curtains open up, and then it's like, wow!
I will say this is a good
Kaisarion
transition.
starts.
Yeah, Kaisarian's transition from the beginning to from that intro to what this is, it is a good intro. But let's hear what Mark has to say,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
About Kaisarion?
Yeah.
It's very upbeat. I like the intro quite a bit. To me, it kind of had like a... Because this is the first I've heard him sing at all. So like,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
vocals
okay.
came on.
That is a good
I've never
point.
listened to a Ghost,
Maybe not
a
the
Ghost
best
song
start.
before this album.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
So
you
it's-
didn't know what to expect at all.
I didn't,
Okay,
no.
right
And
on,
it had
right on.
kind of like a Rush feel to it.
This
a little
one
bit. This
actually-
song did.
Yeah.
And
The
my-
bass line in this one is Rush-esque. I definitely
Yeah.
noted that specifically.
Yeah.
I couldn't really, maybe it was like the similarity in the sound of his voice. Like I was expecting, last week was Sabaton.
Yeah.
And so like you go from that to this, and it's like just a complete change in
There's
how he sung.
definitely a change of tone. Yeah.
I was going into it trying to like find the theme of the album in every song, and I wasn't expecting it to take like to me it had like a religious spin on
As
Yeah.
well it should.
Yeah.
so is it about empires, or is this like about
Oh yeah, Impera.
crusades?
I think
Is this
Latin for-
Yeah.
is it religion, failing religion? Is it about religion at all? I couldn't.
Definitely, there's always a religious connotation in everything they do. This one is
Okay.
diluted. So in the past,
So that I picked up on that, and it made that made more sense when I was trying to find more like last week Sabaton of World War One. Like I was trying to see the literal rises and falls of civilizations kind of and intertwined in the lyrics.
That's
That's why-
I think that's a little much for this album. That's
no,
what
that's
it's intended to do.
I was gonna say that's literally what Tobias Forge says it's about.
But it's not as literal. It's not as good as what Sabaton does.
Yeah,
with
it's
War
definitely not
Songs.
as literal. It feels more like Crusade-ish to me.
Yeah.
In the rise and fall,
This.
like a holy war, like a holy sanctioned adventure or something.
This.
Yeah, like in some of the songs.
You
It just
can
feels
put
like
that
if
together.
if you're talking about like empires. I don't know. I just feel like I heard religious undertones.
No,
in the
you
way the
definitely
lyrics are,
definitely
so-
did that.
Definitely.
So I'll just go real quickly.
Okay.
I gave it a 7.
You gave it a 7.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5 out of 10. That was my initial review. Like that's my first pass. And then I was like, bro, you're an idiot. Like this is not a 5 out of 10. Like this is an easy 6.5 out of 10. It's not great to me.
No.
This one has more of a 90s feel compared to the rest of them. It is very pop.
Oh really?
And I don't know that it's like, it's just not that exciting. But when I listened to it, like, I think I ended up probably going through the album 10 times in the end. I listened to it hard the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm still not excited to hear this song, but it's better than a 5.
Do you know what it is? It's the intro. Even though I've described it as like a dude running out on stage, like coming out to that pop and like the fucking the confetti and the dude's like, hey.
It's a little bit more
You know,
exciting.
God's
Yeah.
yeah, God's with us or whatever, you know. And like you're getting a fucking place in heaven. You're getting a place in heaven.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey
Yeah,
type
exactly,
shit.
yeah.
You're
And-
getting a car. You're getting a car.
Yeah, but like I got I don't remember what I was saying. The intro in the first verse is like pretty lacking. It's weird that the first word is Caesarion. You were like, oh, that word means fucking
Caesar.
Caesar or whatever, and I was like,
Caesarion.
whatever.
Yeah, it's the Greek word
Yeah.
for
But-
Caesar or Caesarian or whatever it is.
It's very strange, but once the bridge kicks in and into the chorus, and it's like dun, 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 how I can't remember exactly how it goes, but there's a part once the bridge goes, that part's really catchy, and that's what really really made the song grow on me.
Yeah.
I started out at a 6, and then I bumped up to a 6.5 as well.
Cool.
But like this is where I, like not this is where it's the first song, but like I got a Styx, Kansas, and like Boston vibes from this, like in the
Yeah.
intro and stuff. And then that's when I was like, this album's gonna be fucking different.
Yeah, I thought the cadence was more 90s, but this whole album is, like 80s. 80s-ish, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we should drain this one too far. It's good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Decent intro, but it's not what I would have wanted. I would have wanted the next song to be the true intro to this album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mark.
Yeah.
I couldn't get behind this one. It's I don't know. I wrote it's not bad, it's not good. The step up of guitar and vocal tone at the end of each break in the verses is a nice touch. I don't know. Maybe it was the piano that threw me off. Maybe it would have been better without the piano.
I think
know.
once-
I don't know. I
To
just
me-
heard it. I didn't really have any.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, that's
about
fair.
it.
That's fair. That's fair.
My first impression of this was a 5.5 as well.
This was the song that Jeff and I went back and forth on.
Yeah,
I
I
just-
gave it a 3. It was just not. I just didn't like it.
Oof, that's brutal.
Yeah, a little brutal.
That is.
I just kind of thought like this was among the usual suspects of Ghost. Like I didn't get challenged, but then I think the more I heard about it or heard it and then listened to the actual lyrics, I was like, oh yeah, this is a Ghost song. This isn't just like this album, but it ties the lineage back immediately, and that's why I want it to be the first song on the album. You can't call Imperium the first song on the album. But,
Yeah.
Caesarion is cool, and it actually ends up being an appropriate intro because they do different things on this album. I think I wanted them to do what they did with Call Me Little Sunshine and Hunter's Moon, because those are definitely the usual suspects. Nothing terribly exciting that's different happens to those two songs. I won't say any more than that. But this is a great song. 7.5 all day long.
Yeah.
It's a great Ghost song.
Yeah.
Ghost old, Ghost new.
Yeah.
Great Ghost song.
I agree with that. This song also reminds me of like 7 other songs. Like I you and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I say it sounds like a lot. The songs that I looked up to compare it to, there were 3 songs that jumped out to me.
Yeah.
Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler, Man Eater by Hall & Oates, and also
Cold as Ice.
Cold as Ice by Foreign. And so I was like, damn, this shit's fucking, like, it's borrowing from everybody. But Jeff this is something I've come to know about Jeff. Jeff doesn't, not that he doesn't appreciate, but he doesn't want the pop music necessarily. He's not as into it or he's not as fucking open to it as I am. So when Ghost starts doing this pop stuff, but it's also, like you said, very ghosty.
Yeah.
I was fucking lapping it up. I'd send Jeff snaps of me fucking singing this song while he's sitting there typing out text telling me, like, this song fucking sucks. Or
I didn't say it sucks. Yeah, but I was just like, I can't. I told him I couldn't get behind it. You know, similar things to what you said.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was that good either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did I say what
I would skip over it.
I gave it an 8.
Oh,
yeah,
pretty solid.
Yeah, so I'm a little. I remember writing that on my first listen through. I was like, I can't imagine the album having a better song than this one. So that really upset me. That I was like, damn, this is the second song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they fucking went from here to wow, and then it's gonna only go down from here.
Yeah.
And it does. I think it does kind of go down from here for a few songs.
I think he'd be wrong, but not on the next one.
Call Me a Little Sunshine.
Yeah. I gave it a high score, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But I found out that there's an asterisk next to it after my minimum, my maximum listens, which is like 10. Yeah. So you go ahead first.
I really liked the intro and the step into the distorted guitar. The riff was really good. The guitar really sells it. I liked that it went with a deeper, more
It does go a little deeper here.
rougher guitar sound. I don't know that the vocals, like the sound of his voice, I don't know if it's really the best music behind it.
This one
Maybe that was, like,
reintroduces a little bit more high church, that kind of like religious singing type.
Yeah. I mean, it was overall very good. I gave it a 7. I really liked it. To me, the guitar sells the song.
I think that's actually a really fair score for someone who hasn't listened to Ghost.
Yeah.
That's a fair score. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 7, but this one was I think it was the second single from the album, and I listened to it. When I first heard it, I was like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. And I mean, it legit, I had to listen to it probably 3 or 4 times before I was even sort of really interested in it. But like that was months ago whenever it was first released. But now I'm like, I'm really into it. I still don't love it. It's like not great, but it's all right.
I thought
it's grown on me, but
yeah.
I want to skip it and go to other songs.
I thought this was the best song on the album initially. When I did my first listen through, I give this an 8.5. Does it deserve that? No. Because after I got to my last listen, I wanted to skip it to hear other stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I've heard this one. Now, keep in mind, this one's been out longer than the rest, and I've heard this one and the next one more than the others, just because I wanted to hear what they were doing.
Yeah.
And 7.25 is maybe where it really lands, because I think it's better than a 7. It's not the best song on the album. I actually am still up in the air with what the best song is, but we'll go on.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it between 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah. What's next?
Hunter's Moon.
Boom.
So the side story to this one is that it came out, it was released as a single first. This was the first single off the album, and came out with the most recent Halloween movie, whatever the fuck that one was called, Halloween fucking 13 or whatever.
It's the 13th installment in that series. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a perfect fit for.
Yeah, I saw
In
that.
my comment, actually.
Tobias was approached to do a song for the album, and he said that he's got. He's like, oh, I've got a few songs that might work for that or whatever. And so when I heard this one, I mean, I hear that. I'm sorry, I know. When I first heard this, I didn't like it, and I still don't love it. This is probably the weakest song on the album for me. And I've heard that Halloween movie sucks, and I've never seen it, so that's total hearsay. But like, I think it suffers from being associated with a shitty movie, and being associated with a movie in general.
Yeah.
And
feels a little sellout-ish.
yes, but like I don't want to necessarily. I don't necessarily.
You don't want to
think
pull that card.
But like, yeah, like it just dates it to a particular time, to a particular movie. And if that movie sucks, then like, hey, that's a song. That's the fucking song. Song for the movie that Ghost did that song for. That song sucks too. It's just one of those guilt by association things.
I hear you.
You know,
I gave it an 8. I don't think that's the score it deserves either. I think it was just like, they were the most relatable songs when I was listening through the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't put a score for it. It's not as good as Call Me Little Sunshine. So it's like a 7, and then Little Sunshine's 7.25. Like, I think that's where I'm at.
I think this one does have like a really cool guitar solo, even though it's
It
only
is,
like 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to point out that it does have, like, I think the most memorable stepping riff. Like, it goes high and then comes low a little bit, but not too insane. But it is the guitar riff that I hear in my head when I think about this album. There's other moments. I also wanted to call out, in Call Me Little Sunshine was the first time we heard double bass from Ghost.
Oh yeah, I saw people on Reddit or YouTube talking about that.
And people thought that it happened in 20s first. But it happens in Call Me Little Sunshine, Watcher in the Sky, and 20s at least. And there may be moments in other songs, but like those are the 3 that I heard it, and it's so small.
Can we confirm that it's double bass and not somebody just blasting away
like
on a single?
I listened through a lot.
Talking double bass like stacked.
No.
Yeah. Is it a clever Dever or is it a floor tom? Like I've listened and I'm pretty sure that's where it happens there, just for a small moment in time. And then again, definitely in Watcher in the Sky, and most assuredly, 100%.
I never noticed that, honestly.
I saw it on Reddit, and then I started listening to each track, and that was probably what drove me to listen to it as many times as I did. But I was like, I would go over and over and over again. It's like, I don't know what else it could be. It's got to be double bass, and it's definitely confirmed. They've taken pictures of like the drums.
I can't remember what it looked like when we were there. I don't remember watching the drummer enough.
I didn't either.
I got a video. I'm sure we can see.
Yeah. But definitely, double bass.
So would that be like a step towards like maybe going more metal?
I don't know, because they don't really do that.
I think it's just a preference thing. I'm sure they got like a different drummer who does double bass. Yeah, so like this guy or gal is like, hey, I think we could probably throw it
just a little bit.
Just a little.
I know you haven't done it before. Let's ease into it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say. But yeah.
Whatever. So yeah, that brings us to another
I didn't give my review, man.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go for it, bro. Sorry.
Because Uber said it was in the Halloween movie. I was unaware of that.
I'm sorry.
So I was trying to tie this one in. It didn't really fit in the album to me, like lyrically. I was confused at this point. So what's the message here?
Yeah.
And then I wrote, it's okay, but it feels kind of Halloween-y. So
yeah.
It makes sense that it was now in the Halloween movie, because it did kind of feel that way.
Yeah,
the breakdown in the middle was really good.
It does have a cool harmonic solo.
For like a really, like in the middle of the song, like the breaks that they take to go like instrumental.
Some of their songs have 2 of them even. Where they do
really solid.
Sort of...
It was like, to me, it would bump the song up a little bit. As the score bumps it up a point or 2.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I me, if Spillways never did, if Spillways starts and ends and like doesn't change its pace at all, it's not that exciting. Well, I guess you could say any song that's done the same 5 notes over and over again probably isn't going to be terribly exciting. But they do a great job of the breakdowns, like you said. Awesome. So that brings us to
the next highly contested song on the album, Watcher in the Sky. And this is why I was wrong about it.
You were wrong.
Yeah.
The song's awesome.
All right, Mark. So we've kind of tipped our hands. Let's see what you thought about it.
Definitely steps up a little more in the hard rock department.
Yes.
The music I put is really fantastic.
Oh.
But it's another song where to me the lead singer and the music just don't like to me it almost needs a different singer with a different tone.
I love what he does here.
I'm not saying I agree, but I know
he has a verse like communication is key. He's never done that in any other song like that. He does not hit that cadence in any other song ever, and it sounds so different to me. And I want to say like that's what stepped up.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's just a higher tone of voice. Like to me, a song like this needs a deeper tone. But.
He's just got a unique voice.
Yeah.
It's like a little, like it's a little high.
I think that's why they don't do the heaviest of heavy metals, because just, he doesn't fit that genre.
Right.
Yeah, he is more like, he's not an opera singer, but he's just more theatrical in nature.
It's crisper. It's higher.
Yeah, sharper.
Yeah,
for sure. So you thought it was fantastic. What
I
did you
thought
give
the
it?
music was fantastic. Overall, a 5. It was okay. Like overall, I really liked the music. Like the music was great, but I just wanted a different singer.
Fantastic. It's
and singers like the singing's half the song.
Ice cold.
That is ice cold. Except for like you gave it like a 6 or something to begin with.
Yeah, I did give it a 6, but like this is when I was like that was my very first pass through, and I was still trying to. With Ghost, I'm always kind of dragging my feet. I was telling Jeff, because I was on board with it. I got on board with it before he did.
Yeah.
And with Ghost, there's always a song that makes it click for me. Like, because I'm not always on board, or I'm not always sure what they're doing or what they're getting at. And by this point in the album, I still haven't found that song, or it hasn't gotten there. So I'm like, man, they're really doing this arena rock, like 80s style rock.
Pretty hard.
And
that's all they've done so far.
I just didn't know what to make of it at that point. But then like Jeff kept fucking beating me down with it, and probably after like the third or fourth listen, I was like, yeah, this song's really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And this one actually like really evokes imagery. Like I literally imagined searchlights, because not that I tried to look for the theme, but if they're telling a story and this is like the 24th century or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And it's going really crazy, and it's like really searched the the rise and fall of empires. I can imagine a time when there are people up there and they're fucking super religious, over the top ceremony, and they're like, we're gonna look to the sky and we're gonna see the savior.
The
and
watch.
it's like the searchlights go and it's just you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very steampunkish with like the big iron searchlights.
But like none of this came to me until I watched the YouTube lyric video on TV, because on
I watched some of the album, like I watched an entire way through with that lyric.
But on Spotify, like the things aren't moving unless it's like the thing that Spotify they pay for or whatever. But like the background of the album was moving, and I was like, oh shit, this is like a 24th century fucking steampunk city or whatever the fuck, And then that's when things started to make a little bit more sense. But then that's many listens down. But the song that got me in is later, so we'll get to it. But I was like, this is the one thing I do want to say. I said, upon further reflection, the harmonizing dueling guitar solos, like that they do, the one guitar does like a tapping solo.
It's like a really
the other guy
fast.
comes on and does a harmonizing tapping solo behind it. I was like, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, that was a cool
really
moment in there.
Cool,
and it was a hard song.
It was a heavy song, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I really liked it. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I liked the main chorus, and the communication is key part, but I felt like I wish the lyrics were more impactful. While it did give the imagery, there wasn't too much in between. It's just like watcher in the sky, communication is key. Can you see what I see? Like those are the lyrics that I remember from it. And I wanted something a little bit more like Spillways, which was like really gruesome and awesome. So that's its weak point. Otherwise, I love the song. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And it would probably be my favorite song if there wasn't another on the album. And I'll let you guess. What do you think it is?
I
if
think
you had to
it
guess.
song's 20s. Or one of the other two songs.
All right, well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to what?
The mid-album fucking instrumental, Dominion.
They do this, and I'm
shit.
glad it exists simply because they do go quite high church on us for a moment. They actually bring the true organ sound, even though it's done on a keyboard. And it just kind of builds and it dissipates, and that's it. It's still a 3 out of 10. I still
4.
Damn.
Now, but what I will say is they will pull these transition type things into the concert, and then you're like, "Fuck, I get it." So it's better than a 3 because they use it in the concert as part of the show. But it's like,
it just gives the
this is an album. It's not a show.
It gives him time to go change his costume.
Yeah, you don't need to have it in the track. But I think it's smart because then they use it, and you hear it, and you're like, oh.
Hey, that's
a nice way to let you know that some
like there's a song called
there's
Church.
change coming. Like it felt like the calm before the storm.
Ooh. But is there a storm afterwards? Yes.
Yeah.
There is indeed.
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The change came.
Yeah, I did.
It definitely stepped up on the rock department. It was kind of like it just felt like a really dark song.
It is.
It is.
Like, I was shocked by this.
It's like
song.
comically fucking dark.
Yeah.
All the way to the 30s.
you say that's not the dark part of the
just,
song, but
it's
like
comically
he
dark.
sent me a picture of it with that lyric, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty dumb. Like, couldn't you think of something else to put there? It's like,
But like, I think it's intentionally silly.
yeah, but then when you also think about it, you're like, oh, the Roaring '20s, and then what
Right.
happened to the '30s is like a breakdown of the economy, Great Depression, and then war.
Man.
So like when you think about it, it's like it kind of makes sense to mention the '30s because like the '20s were so superlative and awesome.
And now here we are just screaming through them.
Yeah.
In the '30s,
It felt like here's the fall of the
Yeah.
empire. Like
Yeah.
it's here now.
yeah,
And
Like it's
coming.
arriving.
Yeah.
yeah, and this
Like
is
everything
why.
else was like the, you know,
Like
But they
God
say some-
sanctioned.
this is like the apex, like right
Yeah.
before everything.
It's
just
the build up. It's the,
collapses.
you know,
Opulence
everything's great, and then
and
ooh, what's coming? Something's
greed,
good.
and
Yeah, it like explains all the brass and shit, all the over top.
Mhm.
yeah, it does open up with a little bit
I
of a
think it's-
brass unit.
I think it's hilarious. It makes it seem like it's West Side Story, like they're out there and they're fucking
Oh, this
on
is.
the play or out there in the
Oh,
theater
yeah.
and they're like,
I don't know about West Side Story. It's almost like Fitzgerald's novel.
Great Gatsby. But
Yeah,
it's the
I
same-
mean, I
but
get
it's
you.
the
It's
same
very
thing.
theatrical. It's
Yeah.
very play based. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could break it into moments in time. Yeah, but like my big gripe about this is vocal synchronization with the music. Like it's really stuttered, and this is not the type of song Ghost has anywhere else.
Yeah, this is a very different.
It's the most experimental
Mm.
Ghost song I've heard, and I will say, like, it stands alone. You will not find another song like this in the entire discography. It just doesn't exist. Not like this. Not this hard. Not this thrashy or crunchy.
What'd you give
I
it?
gave it a 4.
4?
Yeah.
What'd you give it, Jeff?
7.
I gave it a 7. It grew on me as I listened to it more, but I still am usually.
I listen to
I'm
it
still
more
ready to
now.
skip it.
It's getting better.
It is getting better.
When
Same
I hear the
with
song,
Kaisarion.
I turn it up and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like they're hitting it hard, bro.
I can see that.
I think I will. I
Totally
think I
ready
will
for
like the
that.
song more the longer
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
go. I think it's like it's
Yeah.
it's a cool point, but they need to do that sound with their typical melody, and I'll be sold. I was like trying to tell my mom heard Ghost playing when I was in the kitchen, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds nice," and I was like, "Well, this one does sound nice." It was the next song, "Darkness." At the Heart of My Love,
Yeah.
which is a love song, effectively.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me play you one of their harder songs, and I'll see if you like it still. And I was like, okay, I'll do Pinnacle at the Pit. You know, it's like Pinnacle to the Pit. I was like, that's one of their harder songs. And I started playing, and she was like, this sounds good too. And I was like, oh my god. It's just not that hard. It's just not that hard. Like, Ghost
It's
is
not.
not that hard. 20s is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I played some of this stuff for Belle, and she was.
Yeah, moving around.
Jiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not that hard. It is metal, but more
But it's
because of
not.
scenery and lyrics and ambiance. But it's not
Yeah.
hard.
Sorry, so what'd you give this one? I want to.
I for
A 4,
20s,
right?
Yeah.
20s.
Darkness.
Oh,
Yeah, no, okay,
Darkness
yeah,
at the
let's
Heart of
move
my
it on.
love.
Yeah. Or what'd you think?
At this point, it's impressive that they can kind of run with so many different sounds through one album. Like it seems like
This is a change of pace.
yeah, big time.
Sure.
I really liked it. I thought the chorus was good. The breakdown in the middle was solid. I had nothing bad to say. I think this was definitely my favorite song on the album.
I can totally.
It
jive
feels
with that.
way more like a radio song,
Mhm.
like something, and
Yeah.
you know,
You should listen to like their other songs that they do like this. Like to me,
He is.
Elizabeth, he is Stand by Him, and
Not
to an
Stand by Him. Stand by Him doesn't fall into this category. You're fucking.
Maybe not so much. It's a love song, but Bible, in
Bible.
length and style. But Bible kind of goes more for respite on the spital fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this song. It's great.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite love song that they've done. Bible isn't a love song. It's not my favorite type of that song, but it's my favorite love song that they've done so far.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Because they proved that they could do a love song that wasn't about loving Satan.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did it. And I'm
sure.
completely convinced that they can do this type of song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
What'd you
was
give it?
this. I gave it an 8, but it's also because this is the song where the album clicked. It was like, oh, I see what they're doing. Like
They have
this,
gone pop.
this is just like a straight power ballad, like an '80s power ballad. And it's like, oh, this is intentional. Not that it's not obvious that it's not intentional, but like I was saying, it's like they're handing a rope down, and it's just up to me to find that rope and grab onto it,
Yeah.
and then climb up and see like, oh, I see what you guys are doing.
This could have
You
been
know what I'm saying?
written by any number of bands
Yeah.
and been sung successfully. And I think that's what they're kind of generally going for. A lot of these are toned down from the Satanistic themes that exist in the previous.
This reminded me of that Mr. Big song. What was it? To Be With You. Just to be with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, I'm not saying it's like 1-to-1, but like like you were saying, you hear, like, oh, I hear that song right there. I hear that song right there. Or I hear this band or this style.
It exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's
that's what I was saying. This could have been written
yeah.
by any number of people, and it would have been a successful song.
Shadow.
So that moves us into...
Griftwood. Another fucking point of contention.
This was the song I was definitely wrong about.
Yeah.
What did you think, though?
I thought this was the low spot in the album. I really didn't like any part of it. And I
I
thought
can
the chorus
see
was
why.
awful. I gave it a 1.
But you'll never be alone.
Ugh.
You'll never be alone. That's good.
I just
God damn it.
This was the Jesus song. Like, this was the Stand By Him. This was more like the Stand By Him type song. Like, this was the song I was saying, like, there's something that will always be with you, even when you're this Griftwood, like, which I think of as, like, driftwood and grieving. Like, the feel that, like, what I feel is, like...
You don't think of it as like a grift?
Yeah.
Someone who's being a grifter?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like, a grifter's like like a vagrant almost, right? All right, well, I said something wrong. Like, it's not you'll never ever be alone. It's like, do you ever never want to suffer again? But yeah, I still think this is kind of like the Jesus song, like someone following the Messiah, Jesus, you know. And if you give yourself to me, I will lead you through this. I started off with a 5.5, ended with a 7.5.
Damn, man, you ended up higher than me. I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty fair. That opening reminds me of Van Halen. It's Van Halen's Ain't Talking About Love, I think. I'm pretty sure it's that. And
it's just not the same tempo.
no, but it's like essentially that.
Sure.
Which I think is pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of Stacy's Mom by Fountains of Wayne, the fucking like 2004 pop fucking anthem.
Also not the same
Pop
tempo,
rock
but
anthem.
yeah, I hear
You
you.
know, like you hear it
It's
there.
the same vein.
And it's like, and I just wrote, fuck you, I like pop songs. So, like, I like this song. You know,
I saw that note. It's funny.
But yeah, I think this song, it's just a touch long. They could lose a minute of it.
Yeah.
And not lose anything. I said that in the first screenshot I sent you, I said that about one of the other ones. I don't remember which one, but I changed my mind. About Watcher in the Sky.
Yeah.
I thought you could take a minute out of that. I think you just leave that one as is. I think it's really good. That might be.
Well, all right.
But this one you could lose a minute and not lose anything.
I have to mention that in this point of a lot of albums that we've rated, when I get to this like 8th, 9th song, there's a lot of songs I've given low scores that deserve higher. I think I get a little fatigued, and some of the albums I'm able to give a little bit more attention because I just like the album so much. This one I obviously got a lot of listens in because I liked it a lot, and that's why I improved so much with some of the songs. And this one deserves it. There's a part where I had been telling you via text, like I just wanted more high church moments. I wanted that original Ghost sound to appear more often. And this one has that moment. They start talking about the Holy Mother, and they go a little bit more organ-esque on it, and like, oh, it's like, yes, this is what I like. And the 5.5 was like, I gotta turn off for a moment. I'm gonna listen and give an opinion. But well, I'm looking for something to grab me when I turn off. Like I want something to be
in your head,
in my head, like just like pull me out of that funk. And if it doesn't, often I don't give it a good scoring because at this point in the album, you've listened for quite a bit. Like, give me something hard, something heavy. But that's what they did with 20s. Like, that was the one to like bring you back down into we're willing to do something different. They needed to do that here. They didn't, which is fine.
Yeah.
But 7.5, like it wasn't great. What did you end up giving it? You thought it was a
was
low
a
point.
1, yeah.
Oh my god!
I think,
you need to
wasn't
listen to it a couple more times. Like, it deserves. Yeah, it's not a 1. I mean, because like when you think about it, like
it was my least favorite song for sure.
Fair enough, bro. I mean,
hey man, different strokes.
Absolutely.
All right, so bringing us home, final song, "Respite" on the
Well, come on.
Fields.
That is the last song, but there's another track.
Yeah.
Bite of Passage.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I totally skipped that one.
It's a 0 out of 10. Do you know why?
Because I didn't even realize that it was there.
You don't realize it's there,
Yeah.
and it fits in the song. There's no delineation. It could just be an intro to the song.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do a transition like this, make it make sense. There's nothing different. Like I had to go back. I was like, well, I'm not on that track. I was on Bite of Passage.
Yeah. It should have. I feel like it should have just been included in Respite of the Spittle Fields, which I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, so
Is it Spinal Fields or Spittle? I didn't actually look it up. Now I found out that it's like I don't know if it's a borough or a neighborhood or whatever you want to call it in part of East London. And I don't know like this even the story. I only looked up like where's the Spittle Fields? Spittle Fields. And I feel like this is like a Jack the Ripper story. I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure there's some, empirical background to this, but I feel like there's Reaver in there, like the word Reaver in there, or Reaper. Dong.
Spittlefields.
Spittlefields. Okay, Spittlefields.
Spittlefields.
Spittlefields it is. That's fine. Now look up what it's about. But while you're doing that, this may be, I think this may be my favorite song on the album. And I'm so happy that an ending song could make me feel this way. Because a lot of ending songs on a lot of albums get a little experimental. And this was... Experimental though? I don't know.
Ghost, it kind of goes all over the map.
Yeah, there's some softer parts, there's some heavier parts,
there's
there's deeper parts, there's some lighter parts.
That's what I put. Like that has a lot of fun moments.
Yeah.
It's like Darkness at the Heart of My Love. It feels like you're gonna get a ballad out of it, and then you get some harder, more like Black Sabbath type feels to it, and. There's the Rush sound kind of comes back with the heavy bass, and I just want to mention this album includes a lot of very prominent bass riffs, and I don't know that I've heard that so much.
You just mentioned
they're
from the
there.
to the pit.
Yeah, that one definitely. Yeah. Maybe I need to say it about Ghost. Like they do a great job of including bass. Yeah. Like this is not. Nothing else matters. Fade to Black and Justice for All. That's what it is. Yeah, it's like where like the bass, like turn it down more. Yeah. A little bit more.
Put your bass back in the case.
Like it's there if you remaster it to include bass. Like otherwise, nope. I mean, they do a great job. I love just like the symphony of sounds that happens in here. Cool imagery. They do it all in this song. Like, it's all there. All of the things that you hear, the heavy stuff, the light stuff, the rhythm, the melody. Not lack of melody. Like, that doesn't, like, the 20s stuff doesn't happen here, too. But, like, it's a great summary of the album. It's your turn. What did you give it? Oh, did I? I didn't rate it. This is unrateable. This is legendary. I love this song.
give it. I mean, you're on the gun. To
It's
your
not
head.
a
That would be
10
a
out of
10.
10. It's not a
9
10
out of
out
10,
of 10. It's,
then.
it's a 9.5 though. I
Okay.
really like the song. And I won't even say that like it deserves musically, lyrically, vocally. I just love how it's everything that's in this album except for the 20s done right. It's what Ghost does best. Like Bible is probably my favorite song by Ghost, and it is just long and melodic and high church. I love it.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say any more than what Jeff said. It's a solid closer. It goes through the whole gambit of sound throughout the
Yeah.
album, except for like the super dark, like 20s and that. But
Start coughing.
yeah, it was a solid closer. I gave it a 6. It was
6. That's
Good
not
song.
bad for you. Yeah, I thought it was really good. All the same thoughts, but like I just kept thinking about all the different bands I heard, all the different sounds. So like, let me just run through it. I said 80s pop during the intro, like Tears for Fears, Whitesnake during the solo, Maiden during the breakdown, Van Halen, specifically Van Halen's Right Now when they come out of that breakdown. But then like I started hearing, do you guys remember that Smashing Pumpkins song? It's like the beginning is the end of the beginning, or is the beginning of the end is the beginning. And it's for one of those Batman movies. And so I started to hear that a lot. You'd have to go back and listen to it. Like I said, it's only like a second, 2 seconds here or there. But you just start hearing, like, you just hear all these different things, and like you said, it just sums up everything that's happened in the rest of the album. I think it's really cool. I gave it 7.5.
Yeah, I just love how like they do these sounds, and you go listen to the song that you think it sounds like, and you're like,
It does.
it does, but Ghost has this different cadence.
It just borrows a feel, like it just borrows the feel from it. Is how I would say it.
They've built a sound signature that is unmistakably Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive because there are so many bands that just sound like everybody else. There's no mistaking.
Yeah.
When you have a Ghost song on, you're listening to Ghost.
Yeah, I feel like they make such a wide range in sound and song variation that they can play to a much larger audience than someone who stays in a one-track focus of hard rock or ballads.
You might be signed,
Like,
but
you
that's
could
their
find a lot of
genius.
people that like a song or two on this album that would have it on a playlist.
That's why you're seeing them play in arenas. I would have never thought that, except
Square-
for the pace of the music is not intense. It is palatable to a large audience.
Squarehammer was used as the Monday Night Football or like Sunday Night Football buffer music.
Yes, which is incredible.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
I
considering-
had to rewind it. I was like, well, was that Ghost?
Yeah, and then but like that's literally talking about, serving Satan. Are you willing
They
to
didn't
kneel
show
down?
the
to
words.
Yeah,
It was just the
music.
the music is
really,
great.
It's a really catchy lick. I will play it for you, but anyway, what'd you guys think? What'd you rate it?
I said
what
it's
was your scores?
unrateable. Oh, of the
What
album
scores
now.
you have for the album?
I don't think I can rate this one personally. Like
Why
I'm
do we
going
even come? Why do we even
to.
show
I'm
up
going
today?
to. It's tough for me. 7.5. It's a 7.5.
I'd probably do maybe a 6.75.
All right.
So-
You won't listen to. You won't seek it out, but it was good enough
Yeah,
to listen.
I
to.
feel like there was some like good songs in here. Their ability to be able to bring in such a large audience. I mean, musically they're obviously very talented.
Yeah,
It's hard to deny that. So yeah, it was a good listen.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
7.5.
enjoyed it.
7.5 out for me.
Yeah.
Can't say anything else we haven't said already. So
This is one that
I enjoyed
potentially grows to an 8 as it lives on, because I have this sneaky suspicion that their next album could be a pretty big sellout.
I
Like, way more towards pop.
if this album represents the rise and the apex of the empire, I can imagine that the next one would be about like the fall of the empire.
Yeah.
Just go.
I have my concerns that this goes too far, but they may not, and they may be able to pull it off. I don't know.
I think I had my doubts about this, even after listening to it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, like,
But
is
it
this
comes around-
Ghost
it comes-
anymore?
I think so.
It is. The high church signatures still exist.
I think they're getting close to being
The vocal.
away from the original not the original.
Yeah,
Ghost,
isn't that kind of what happens?
But yeah, like
all
that's
bands,
what we
really.
say. Like each
They
band,
all evolve into different
yeah,
sounds.
like they
and-
start out here, and with each album, it's like they get more and more, more and more. Not pure, but they just become more.
This
and more
one
of
feels
themselves.
like they're losing the message.
I think we may not be understanding the message. I think.
No, I think we know what the message is. More listens, more money, and that means creating more palatable music. And I think we still like this because we've reached the intersection of what we've heard and what, like, from other bands. Like, this is the most that I would think we've ever compared. Like, oh, this is this band, this is that band, this is this band. Like, they had a very desired influence. When I go back and listen to the other ones, it's like, yeah, I can hear other bands because everybody plays a guitar, drums, and bass, right? And sings. But it's like, they had a super distinct signature, and they lost it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I've given the album a 7.5, but because of that, I can't give it an 8. It's, yeah. I'm saying there are definitely
No,
other
you're right.
albums.
I mean, I don't really listen to an album much and be like, oh, they sound like this. The song sounds like that.
But I think we're doing that because it's so much different than what they have done in the past.
It'll only unfold before
Time will
us.
tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
You gotta fucking spin the
We
wheel of
Destiny.
We got a couple of repeats on there.
Yeah, put it there, front and for center.
So we've already done the wasp last command. But that
we did
that
it.
video messed up.
One day we'll
So
redo
we'll
it.
leave it on there. Amon Amarth, Berserker, we've already reviewed it, but we didn't record it, so we'll leave it on there in case we land on it. So
We did both. Why did we do that? Just because we had
Yeah, there was like
intentions
Yeah,
to
there
do
was
it.
something.
And then I get sick or something like that.
something
Yeah.
happened.
I think, is it my spin then?
Go ahead.
Give it a nice healthy Wheel of Fortune spin.
Mark's
Suspense is
leaning
killing
forward
me.
like you can possibly see it.
Current top metal album.
Well, we can't do that
It was
one.
just-
It's
that was
currently
like
Ghost.
We were afraid we would land on
Spin
it.
it.
Yeah,
That's
Sabaton's dropped to like 14 or something, which is
On-
super sad because it's only been like a week and a half.
The picture they posted said they were number 2.
Well, yeah,
Whenever
that was like a couple days ago. It's like, and that was, it was a moment in time, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say it is Ghost
Yeah,
right
okay.
now. So
Close
I
enough.
guess I can just go ahead and give it another one.
That was one hell of a spin.
It was.
Oh fuck! Get out of town.
Oh yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mark.
Yep. I don't know. You won't like it.
You're not gonna like it.
I don't typically plan to.
This is in the lineage, like among the first power metal bands ever.
Yeah. So it's Blind Guardian, and then there was Silence. That's the name of the album, and then there was Silence, which is also the name of a Queen album, and then there was Silence. Or no, I'm sorry, cut that part out. I'm thinking of A Night at the Opera.
Is this their freshman album?
Yeah, I wrote, and then there was Silence, but what I really meant to say was A Night at the Opera. That's what the album is. The album's called A Night at the Opera.
So Blind Guardian.
Yeah, this is a very I would liken this to not quite Sabaton mixed with Queen. This album specifically.
Okay.
If
But
it's
it's different. It's different. This one's got Battlefield on it.
Yeah, this one stands.
This
A lot of Blind Guardian stands on its own.
Yeah, they're.
Well, I'll give it.
Yeah, they are. What they
Obviously,
are.
I'll be listening to it, so I
Yeah.
guess we'll see.
It's
how
a
I feel next
forefather of power metal, and
yeah,
is
sure.
power metal too. If you've ever listened, you don't like emo, you don't like punk, right? You should
Yeah.
still listen to Fugazi, cause you get to see and hear like the progenitor band of that movement. And I don't really want to say that I like Fugazi, but they're like, their sound is so cool. Check them out, Fugazi. Just give their first album a listen, because
What's
you're
this
like,
have to do with Blind
I
Guardian?
don't know. How do we
I was just saying, Blind Guardian is a progenitor of power metal, where Fugazi is a progenitor of the emo movement as well. And it like when you get to hear these like unique, impressive sounds that you've never heard before. Like I remember hearing them in high school, and I was just, this is so different. This is so cool.
This album is the Impera of Blind Guardian, I would say.
For power metal fans, like
Well,
because
yeah.
they
Blind Guardian.
dropped from being like
Nightfall
thrash
and
and
speed metal.
Speed
and,
metal.
Nightfall and Middle Earth is like a concept album sort of thing, and it's kind of its own special fucking thing. But then this one is like still different than what they do all their other.
This is very exciting for me to review.
Yeah.
Forces me to go back and listen to them again.
Yeah.
You won't enjoy it at all.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's do this shot finally.
Yes, sir. Who's got it? I don't know where it is,
I
bro.
think it's over there.
Oh yeah, it's
You got it.
Ben is in
Chilling in the cooler.
charge.
not chilled.
Warming in the cooler.
Yeah.
It's warmer than the cooler.
Yeah, it's warm, yeah. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's been in there microwaving.
You could view it as cooling in the cooler, but it's just making the cooler less warm.
Yeah,
Or
let's
less.
just go ahead and get my chaser ready.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka for Real Men. You can
Austin,
cut that out.
Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah, are you even allowed to say that?
No. Cheers, mates.
Especially in Austin.
It doesn't get better. No liquor gets better as the night goes on. Hasn't happened
That
yet.
rubbing alcohol smell in my nose after you. Oh.
If you've liked what you've seen here on Music Reviews, please like, subscribe.
Watch the show.
Tell my parents.
Love you guys.
This is awful.